MP accuses the police of being compromised in the Agogo crisis as residents of Agogo in the Ashanti region pile pressure on government to drive out nomadic herdsmen in the area. Member of Parliament for the area promised the Agogo violence should be a thing of the past, but that has not yet happened. He promised that it must be a thing of the past by the 31st of March, but that has not happened. He's now putting the blame at the doorstep of some interested parties who are in bed with the police and government for being insensitive to the issues.
They are not proactive, they are unconcerned, they are insensitive to our plight. And if a government is acting in this way, it tells you whom we have invested our future into their hands.
So who are the beneficiaries of blood spill in Agogo? Why has the police and government not been able to bring a closure on this matter? When at all are we going to see a close to the Agogo violence? We'll be gauging the mood of the MP for the area, Asante Agogo North, and the Asante Regional Minister, who also engaged the police, plus a security analyst. This is today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Streets in Agogo have been energized by a thick stream of protesters, including religious and traditional leaders, clad in black and red clothes and holding anti-government and anti-nomadic herdsmen placards. This is at least the second reported demonstration by the residents in a conflict with herdsmen that has escalated this year. Now, the youth in the town have blamed government for the continued stay of nomadic herdsmen in the town, despite a 2012 court order that they be driven out of that area. That period of execution of the court order has since expired. Let's take excerpts of that demonstration.
Since the court ordered that all cattle should be removed from Agogo, government has been reluctant in executing.
We can now go on to the phone lines and speak with our correspondent, Ohim Interior. Good evening to you. Thanks for your time on today's big story.
Good evening.
You've been following the demonstration in Agogo. What can you tell us?
Yes, this morning it was a spectacular scene to behold as the aged and the young, clad in red and black, took to the streets of Agogo in protest over what they say are government's handling of their legitimate issue that is killing and maiming of residents on their farms and sometimes in their homes. So for residents, it was the right time for them to also tell government that indeed they were not happy at the way it has handled the matter. And I saw both religious leaders dressed in their castles taking part in today's march, as well as traditional authorities who were also dressed in their regalias just to take part in the march. And I must say it was a well-attended ceremony. Both the young and the aged were so enthused in taking part of today's protest march. But one thing that remains significant to the people of Agogo, that indeed they have seen several government officials visiting their communities, from the Inspector General of Police to the National Security Coordinator and other top government officials, including the regional minister, who is the administrative head of the Ashanti region, giving them assurances and promises over and over that indeed their woes will be over. But until today, the situation still remains unchanged. People continue to die. People continue to be murdered in cold blood as a result of the presence of the nomadic herdsmen. So today, they took to the streets to tell the authorities that indeed they are not happy at the way the matter or the issue has been handled. And for me, reporting as a journalist, yes, this is one of the significant protest marches I've witnessed, looking at how the youth even demonstrated when even it was raining. Some of them remained in the rain, that indeed they wanted to push this problem once and for all. But the MP makes no words when he said that about 50 residents have been killed over the past years, and some have also been injured just because they have been living a legitimate right. And he says that, yes, beyond today's demonstration, they want to take the action to the doorsteps of the presidency, seek audience with President Mahama. Maybe he has not heard the cry and the sufferings of the people of Agogo, so that the president will this time hear for the first time, first-hand information from Agogo, how the people are suffering. And he also accused the police and some top government officials for being behind the continuous stay of the nomadic herdsmen in Agogo. For instance, he mentioned the fact that a section of the nomadic herdsmen are untouchable, and with the security agencies, even when they are on patrols, they choose only to remain on the highways instead of visiting areas that are believed to be, hideouts for suspected nomadic herdsmen.
The people seem to be losing interest in the police and government. Can you confirm this?
Yes, the people seem to have lost interest in police and government. That is the widely acclaimed song on the list of the people of Agogo. Even in the demonstration, a group of young men sang Yabre IGP, to which we are tired of the IGP. The IGP is insensitive to apply. It's time for the IGP to act. Then indeed, it tells you how frustrated, how angry they are with government, and especially with the security agencies who have been with them since 2012, when a roadmap was made for the Operation Cowleg activities to begin.
Many thanks to your Heming for that update. Now, let's listen to the Member of Parliament of the area, Kojo Ajimaba, who spoke earlier with my colleague, Ohiming and explaining how frustrated the people are because they think the police and government are in bed with some people who are beneficiaries of blood spill in Agogo.
They are absolutely right. The government brought about 30 security men here, and a security situation like this, you come and deploy 30 people here with one pickup. How are they going to function? And the cattle are scattered all around the area. I was thinking that they could deploy massive people, armed people, and if they are really proactive, they should come and sack them. But they didn't do it. So it presupposes that they are not proactive, they are unconcerned, they are insensitive to our plight. And if a government is acting in this way, it tells you whom we have invested our future into their hands. Maybe we presume that the president haven't heard of our situation. So after this demonstration, we will try and arrange a meeting with the president to let him know that if he's not hearing, if he's not getting the right report, there is what is happening in Agogo. And if after our meeting with him, he has still not been proactive, we need to come back to our farms and start planting. So any means that we will embark on to flush the cattle ourselves, we will do it and get access to our farms.
We're now joined on the line by the Ashanti Regional Minister. Good evening to you, and thanks for joining us on today's big story. Hello, good evening to you. You're welcome on today's big story.
Good evening. Thank you very much.
How do you respond to accusations that government is in bed with some people who are beneficiaries in the blood spill in Agogo?
You know what? I would love us to be interested in the issue at stake, not in the buyer. The important thing is that, do you have an invasion of cattle in the area? There was. Did we do anything? Yes, we did. We almost were getting to the tail end. But there's a new development. And the development is coming from along the eastern region through Drobonso, which is also part of Ashanti region. And the new things are coming inside. I heard Kutuba, my friend, talking about that the one pickup is not enough. But the way we are working, we thought we have done very well, except the fact that this new development has come. DISEC have written to us a report that they have realized new cattle coming in from where we have done a very good job. So it implies that he even has an idea as to the way we should approach it. So his view, as far as I'm concerned, that he thinks the one vehicle is inadequate. It is important to share that position with the RegSec. We are meeting about tomorrow or Friday, and they will fashion us from the new development the reports we have received so that we don't lose focus on what we are doing. But purposefully, what it means is that we have to make sure we flash out to ensure that there's peace around the area. That's what we are looking at.
So let's look at what the residents are saying. And again, let's look at the court order, 2012 court order. The time to execute that, what the court order is saying, has expired. What has happened to that?
Now, if you want to let the court order specifically spoke about areas where we should not allow stray cattle and to allow those who have caged them to be there. But we realize that combining nomadics with the regulars creates its own problems. So it is a total discussion and then flashing out of all. And to that extent, there has been some massive movement. Just that we are experiencing new incursions. And we think that this is an emerging issue we should address. And we are going to have to address that. So that one is being applied. The court spoke about specific areas and communities we should work on. But if we work on what happens to other communities, and definitely the cattle can also move from communities into new communities, and even for those who are flashing. So we went through total work along the line, and that's where we have reached. In fact, from last 3 weeks, even for me, there was about 1,000 going and being guided by the military and the security agencies to go. So this is what we think we are going to address it now, because there's a new report from DISEC about new incursions, and we are going to meet and fashion out new strategy. I'm sure from his input, we involve them in doing that. I've already spoken to him.
Honourable Minister, this is the second time residents in the conflict with the herdsmen are demonstrating to get solution to this matter. And they seem to have lose some confidence in the police, and they're vowing to take the law into their own hands. Are you not worried?
What is worry? Everybody is worried about the situation. Our job is to make sure that we solve the problem. The point is that if you want to lose confidence in the security agencies, what will you be creating? A lawless society which will not augur well, but will create more problems. And we should appreciate the fact that they are their farms. So they have feelings at times. We all appreciate it. But that one should not let us stop from approaching the issue from a perspective where we get formal, final solution. So we will not be looking at those things. My appeal is very simple. Taking the law into your own hands will not solve the problem. Losing confidence in the security agencies will not be the solution. We should fashion how to do it. And that's why the RegSec is going to sit immediately and take information from DISEC and act. We need to act in consonance with the Eastern Region RegSec, because we relate. And when you move, they go there. They can also come back. So when you think you are free, you wait on, and in some time they also come back. So we need to collectively work towards that direction.
Before you meet RegSec, in the interim, what are some measures you're putting in place to ensure this does not escalate?
Yes, I've just told you that we have a team in place of all security agencies, the police and the military. And the DISEC are also on top. So they've raised a report. So they will do more incursions into the forest to prevent some from advancing. That's what we've said now. And then when we meet, we need to do reinforcement and get more logistics. Whether it should be sustained or it should do it occasionally, we'll fashion out at the next meeting what to do immediately.
Many thanks to you. Alexander Akon is the Ashanti Regional Minister. On the other line is Dr. Franklin Biney. He is a security analyst. Good evening to you. You're welcome on today's big story.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Biney, the nomads have been accused of perpetrating crimes, including murder, rape, besides the destruction of farm crops by their grazing cattle. I mean, their continuous stay poses great danger, but we're being told there are some beneficiaries in this matter who may never want them to be driven away. What does this mean to security in the area?
Thank you very much, Aisha. I will be very glad to take this matter a little bit for us Ghanaians to learn a lesson from our brothers and sisters in Nigeria who have a similar experience in assessing the recent conflicts of the Ghanaian migrant Fulani herdsmen and native farmers here, it has a relationship with that of what happened in Nigeria. And it is this. The Nigerian Fulani farmer, for example, conflicts are a prime example of religious divide, aggravating the land tension there. And you know, Ghana and Nigeria have similarities. Now, Islamic and Christian extremists have been blamed for the conflict in the plateau states of Nigeria. Small disputes over here and there were cattle escalated into full massacre. And when you compare and look at Ghana's one, it is gradually escalated because of what? Strong religious divide in the central Nigeria, for example. Now, democratization in Nigeria, for example, is said to be one of the causes of radical education with Islam and Christianity. What are we seeing here today? Now, in the case of here, we can see that today's demonstration, you realize that everybody involved, and I pity and I really share the sympathy with them of what is going on. And now, everywhere, including the religious sects, the religious bodies are all involved in the demonstration. Now, predominantly, you can see that apart from every factor, climate change factor, transhuman, but all of these factors put together, you realize that it's affecting the economy, the politics, and the social issues. But again, if you go down, the bottom line is that you realize that many of these cattle, I see that they have been owned by certain senior men in this country. Politicians are having some of these, economics are having some, social, and people involved who are elite are having this. So when we attack the Fulani, we need to dig down to the matter and know who are, and then draw lines for them. Like the officer said, indeed, there are so many things that put in place, but I always suggest that the time has come, the land there, they should always negotiate, chiefs must negotiate very well before they give out land. And the land must be doing so that they make sure that they develop crowds where and work ranch, where they can send their cattle to graze and not to leave them in the open and to disturb the people of the environment there. And many things are affected here. And at that point in time, when it goes that way, it continues to have effect on the security of the nation because nothing can work. And look at what's happened. People cannot go to their farm. People cannot go to their work because it is affecting their security. Their security is at stake.
Doc, residents of Agogo now seem to be losing some confidence in the police. And in fact, they're vowing that they're going to take the law into their own hands if government doesn't do anything about it. I mean, what could be the implications?
Here, when the government has to put it together, we need to consider and look at the measures that we put in place at that level because we have the dissect, we have the RICTEC, and we have the national security. Now, if the very, very kind of principles or the guidelines of the rule of law that are thought of being put in place are not adhered to, automatically the people are there. Remember that the people there, they fought for this land from their forefathers, their ancestors. They have that kind of psychology, that thought, and they believe that nobody can come and take it from them. At this point in time, if the RICTEC are not able to put their feet down and allow what they put down to be applicable, I can assure you that it will get up and it will escalate. And escalate is not affect only Agogo alone. It will affect every area of Ghana because when there's no peace in Agogo, Ghana will not be at peace. So I'm pleading that all stakeholders and all the responsible ones who are involved in this matter must come down and ensure that if they really love Ghana, if they love the future young ones who are going to take over this country, then they must be able to allow themselves and abide by the simple rules and measures that will be put in place for the sake of the security of the people.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, of course, has said that they're going to have a dissect meeting to look at the way forward, and he says that there is a team in place to ensure that security prevails in that area. But of course, one of the immediate things they need to do is to restore back confidence in these people. How can this be done?
Hello?
Dr. Baini.
Yeah, I missed your last point. Please.
You're on air. I'm saying that one of the quickest things they would have to do is to restore some confidence back into these people. How can this be done?
Very well. Now, the one is that the people down there said they're going to meet tomorrow at RICTEC, dissect is going to meet, and when they meet, they must bring the people. In fact, the Fulani must be involved, the dissect team must be involved, the chiefs and the people of the opinion leaders must be involved, and all who are involved in this matter must be part of that meeting to listen to one another and ensure that all factors of these issues could be taken into consideration. But it looks like many at times when the meeting itself, the Fulani are not really incorporated for them to be listened to also from their end. I'm not saying and I'm not supporting, but they must listen to both sides because they also have a point. And so, because it's not they per se, but at least, like I told you earlier on, the people who own the cattle must also be brought on board. If they really want Ghana to be peaceful, then they must be brought on board and let them know the reality and the effect that is happening on the economy and the political spirit of this country. So it is the immediate thing that they have to bring the owners of the cattle must also be there, so that they'll show them the way and direct them what to do and what not to do to ensure peace. Other than that, they will go round. When the owners are still there, they cannot support the light of peace.
Dr. Bani, finally, before you go, how do we resolve this long-awaited peace, or how easy is it going to be, especially now that we know there are beneficiaries who may not want this to end?
Well, I would suggest that the rule of law should be tied with community or citizens to support or to ensure their safety. Again, I'm calling for renewal and appeal to the Ghanaian Parliament, the Minister of Interior, National Security, local government agencies, to put in place, lay down regulations that should be accepted by the residents of the affected farming community and pastoralists. I further appeal to the Ghanaian chiefs, particularly, to have broad-based consultation with their subjects and pastoralists before land are leased for animal farming already. This is what I will consider and what suggest. And other things, other recommendations I also keep is the Ghana Society of Animal Production must consider a review of the Economic Committee of West African States Protocol on Livestock and Transhumans to control activities of Fulani herdsmen. That's one thing I want us to draw attention to. A grassland policy with focus on the introduction of adapted exotic grass and legumes, veggies to restock areas, particularly in the interior savannah, where large tracts of land had been abandoned due to soil impoverishment and heavy wheat invasion. These all must be looked at. And another point is on the National Livestock Policy Target, which aimed at increasing supply of meat and animal dairy, must also be looked at so that when these things are allowed. But I remember Dr. Osei, the Aponsa of the Association of Ghana Association of Animal Farming, was prepared to render assistance to government to design and implement strategies to enhance development of livestock, domestic livestock production for sole conflict caused by activities of life. Ask me whether he has been allowed. So people who know what's supposed to be done must be allowed to come into this and ensure a lasting solution to this conflict in Agogo for our brothers and sisters.
Very well, Dr. Bani, many thanks for your time on today's big story. We've been talking about demonstrations in Agogo. In fact, it's the second demonstration by the people who want their issue with the nomadic Fulani herdsmen resolved. What do they want? All the cattle who are destroying their farms must be moved away from that area. In fact, we wanted to speak with the Member of Parliament of the area, Kojo Ajemamba, who is accusing government and the police of not being sensitive to the plight of the people, and also who's accusing the police of being in bed of people who are interested or who are beneficiaries of the crisis in Agogo because they have cattle who are being reared by the Fulani herdsmen and therefore may not want them to be driven away. We also wanted to speak with ASP Tanko and get a response to the accusation that the police is in bed with those people who have interest in the conflict in the area. Our lines failed us. We're unable to get them. But this is today's big story. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Good evening.